The ancient tomb that stopped all construction in China. What is being hidden underground? Have you ever imagined that amid a bustling modern construction site, a secret sleeping for centuries could be hidden away? An invisible door leading back to the past, where untold stories, forgotten fates, and ancient legends await revelation. And today, you and I will open that door together. September 2nd, 2017. A day that seemed as ordinary as any other in Zhizhu Village, Anhua County, Hunan Province, China. But then, a sudden scoop of earth by an excavator at the construction site shook the entire archaeological world. The workers there had no idea that just beneath the soil they were digging was an ancient coffin lying silently for hundreds of years. Unlike the decayed remains typically found in archaeology, what they discovered was the body of a man preserved almost perfectly. What amazed the experts beyond belief was that this man was still wearing an exquisite, luxurious set of clothes as if he had been buried just yesterday. The body had not decomposed, the clothes were intact, the facial features remained clear, the skin retained a slight elasticity, and even the thick jet-black hair was still abundant. All of these indicated that this was not simply a mummy, but a scientific challenge and a living historical mystery freshly unearthed from the earth. After archaeologists quickly arrived at the site, initial analyses suggested that the body might belong to a nobleman or wealthy individual from either the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, or the Qing Dynasty, 1644 to 1912, two of the most glorious dynasties in Chinese history. And you know, just mentioning those two names is enough to evoke countless fascinating legends and historical mysteries. The body was buried in a special coffin made of a combination of limestone and precious wood, two materials known for their excellent insulation from the outside environment. But the most impressive discovery was a delicately carved wooden hand fan buried with the man. Not just an ordinary object, but a symbol of status, power, and refined taste of that era. The fan may seem small, but it was a major clue because in many East Asian cultures, objects buried with the deceased are not just to beautify the tomb. They are part of the ritual, a message, a piece of the life story of the departed. That fan might have been his favorite possession or could symbolize his role in society, a scholar, an official, or even a member of the royal family. Another notable point was the tomb's location. It was discovered in a mountainous area, the ancestral land of the Wang family, a clan believed to have held great influence in Anhua during ancient times. The presence of this body there further supports the hypothesis that the man in the coffin could have been an important figure, possibly governing a vast territory. Immediately after this shocking discovery, the construction site was completely shut down. And you know, this is no small feat in a populous and rapidly developing country like China. Yet the government did not hesitate to halt all activities to ensure that this priceless heritage would not be harmed even by a single millimeter. That alone shows just how significant this discovery was. After being carefully transported to a research center, the body underwent special preservation to allow for genetic analysis, clothing study, and even investigation into the cause of death. Because every detail, no matter how small, from the type of thread used in the garments, the knot style on the shirt, to the composition of the coffin's wood, could be the key to unlocking a forgotten era of history. What would you think if I told you this body might hold the story of a power struggle, a forbidden love, or a deep conspiracy buried by time? And if this is just one tomb, how many more mysteries are hidden beneath China's soil, waiting to be discovered? Is this part of a vast noble cemetery or just a solitary case? All these questions remain hanging, awaiting archaeologists to unravel them one by one. But hey, don't take your eyes off the screen yet, because right now we'll continue unveiling other strange discoveries that have stunned archaeologists, from mysterious ancient tombs hiding earth-shattering secrets to perfectly preserved frozen mummies and artifacts still vibrant in color after thousands of years underground. If you love history, enjoy exploration, and want to join me in uncovering the truths hidden beneath the dust of time, then let's dive into the next secret right now. I'm sure you won't be able to look away from what these archaeologists have brought to light. The 2,200-year-old computer that shocked the scientific world. Dear friends, If there's one object capable of leaving the entire scientific community speechless, it's right here before your eyes. A mysterious machine buried beneath the ocean floor for over 2,000 years. Once mistaken for nothing more than ancient scrap metal, it would go on to upend everything we thought we knew about the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations. And you know what? It's not some alien artifact. It's not the product of a lost civilization. It was made by the ancient Greeks over 2,200 years ago. This is the Antikythera mechanism, a small artifact, roughly the size of a shoebox, that stunned the academic world and forced us to rewrite the history of human technology. The story begins in the summer of 1900, when a group of Greek sponge divers was searching off the coast of Antikythera Island. By chance, they discovered a Roman-era shipwreck lying deep under the sea. Inside the ship were countless ancient treasures, bronze statues, ceramic vessels, coins, but the most valuable and the strangest item of all was a corroded greenish bronze lump buried among the wreckage. No one could have predicted that this seemingly useless chunk of metal would later turn out to be the world's first analog computer. At first, researchers had no idea what the device was for, but thanks to advances in X-ray imaging and 3D modeling, they discovered a complex internal system made up of more than 30 interlocking gears, crafted with astonishing precision. It was an incredibly sophisticated mechanism, far beyond what anyone had imagined possible in ancient times. Can you believe it? More than 2 millennia ago, when telescopes didn't even exist and people still used sundials to track time, the Greeks had already built a device capable of predicting the positions of the Sun, Moon, and the 5 known planets at the time: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And that's not all. The front of the mechanism displayed the phases of the moon, from new moon to full moon, allowing users to track lunar cycles. The back featured 2 spiral dials for calculating the Metonic cycle, 19 years, and the Saros cycle, which predicts solar and lunar eclipses. Sounds like we're talking about a modern computer, right? But in reality, it was a man-made mechanical device, crafted from bronze and wood, with no electricity, no microchips. What's truly remarkable is that it took scientists over a century to even begin decoding this machine, and they still haven't fully agreed on all its functions. It wasn't until the 1970s that physicist Derek de Solla Price identified it as a genuine astronomical computer, not some decorative item or a toy. And then, in 2024, a research team from the University of Glasgow, led by Graham Wone and Joseph Bailey, made a groundbreaking discovery. Using modern statistical models, they analyzed the number of holes in the mechanism's ancient calendar ring and found something shocking. The Antikythera device may have been programmed to follow a lunar calendar, not the solar one as previously believed. This raises a huge question: who built this machine? And why was it so complex? One controversial theory even suggests a connection to Julius Caesar, the legendary Roman emperor. The device might have been a valuable gift, or possibly stolen from an ancient astronomical temple and was being transported by sea when the ship sank. What's clear is this: the engineering seen in the Antikythera mechanism is on par with technologies not seen again until the Middle Ages. In fact, many of its techniques were never recorded in any ancient texts, prompting many to ask, have we lost an entire body of ancient knowledge? But that's still not the end of the story. Recent discoveries show that some parts of the Antikythera used epicyclic gearing, a highly advanced structure that allows for irregular motion adjustments. This type of mechanism wouldn't be fully developed again until the Industrial Revolution, nearly 2,000 years later. A 500-year-old noblewoman's mummy and her remarkably intact handbag in South Korea. It all began earlier last month at an industrial development site in Osan, about 34 miles south of Seoul. During construction, workers accidentally uncovered a wooden coffin buried deep underground. When a research team arrived to excavate it, they discovered the body of a woman, respectfully wrapped in burial cloth and carefully surrounded by her personal belongings. The Seokyong Institute of Cultural Heritage immediately stepped in. What astonished scientists most was the extraordinary level of preservation. The woman stood about 5 feet and half an inch tall, with a petite build and a gaunt face, suggesting she may have died from a chronic illness. Yet her hair, teeth, and even skin remained clearly identifiable. Simply miraculous. Based on her hairstyle and clothing, the research team determined that she belonged to the nobility, living sometime during the 16th century under the Joseon dynasty, a period that lasted over 500 years, 1392 to 1910, and is considered the pinnacle of Korean culture, education, and Confucian tradition. The wooden coffin in which she was buried had a nameplate bearing her husband's title, indicating he was a high-ranking government official. This strongly supports the theory that she was a noblewoman of significant status in Joseon society. However, the most remarkable detail wasn't her title. It was her personal handbag buried alongside her. In many cultures, the deceased are buried with treasured possessions. But this woman was not buried with gold, jewels, or luxurious ornaments. Instead, what she took into the afterlife was a modest handbag, which contained a few personal items: a comb, a hairpin, and a small ceramic bottle. Isn't that curious? Why would a noblewoman who likely lived a life of comfort and privilege choose to bring such ordinary objects into the next world? Could these have been items of sentimental value, a gift from children, or symbols of her identity, of what it meant to be a woman in Joseon society? These questions remain unanswered, but the simplicity of the discovery has made it all the more human and touching. From a scientific standpoint, experts believe the mummy's excellent preservation was due to traditional Joseon-era burial techniques. At the time, individuals of high status were typically buried in sealed wooden coffins covered in plaster. The interior of the coffin created a naturally vacuum-like environment, slowing decomposition, effectively mummifying the body without the use of chemicals. Unlike Egyptian mummification, where organs were removed and the body embalmed with resins, Korean mummies from this era retained their internal organs, making them incredibly valuable for modern scientific study. This allows researchers today to conduct DNA testing, analyze disease, diet, and even gain insight into gender roles and daily life during the period. In recent decades, over 100 Joseon-era mummies have been discovered in South Korea, but very few have remained as intact in terms of clothing, accessories, and soft tissue as this one. According to Kim Woo-rim, head of the excavation team, this is one of the best preserved mummies we've ever seen. It will provide a wealth of new data on women's lives during the Joseon period. It may seem like just a silent mummy beneath the earth, but every detail from the folds in her garments to the tiny items in her handbag to the signs of illness on her body all serve as precious clues, telling a story that this woman never had the chance to speak herself. That's why this discovery holds not only scientific significance, but also deep cultural and social meaning. It reflects how people of the Joseon dynasty honored the dead, cherished memories, and believed that even in the afterlife, the departed deserved the same simple comforts they enjoyed in life. A 2,400-year-old Greek shipwreck found intact at the bottom of the Black Sea. Can you believe that deep beneath the ocean's surface, where sunlight cannot reach, there lies a priceless archaeological treasure, an ancient Greek merchant ship, perfectly preserved after more than 2,400 years? This astonishing discovery has left scientists and archaeologists in awe, completely reshaping our understanding of ancient shipbuilding techniques and maritime history. As part of today's series on archaeological discoveries, join me as we dive into the mysterious world beneath the Black Sea, where explorers from the Black Sea Maritime Archaeology Project have just uncovered the world's oldest known shipwreck, a vessel that stands as a living testament to the ingenuity and timeless brilliance of the ancient Greeks. Lying more than 6,560 feet below sea level, where no light can penetrate, archaeologists from the University of Southampton, in collaboration with the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, used cutting-edge archaeological technology to survey more than 770 square miles of the Black Sea's seafloor. During this expedition alone, they uncovered over 60 shipwrecks from various time periods, but none was as breathtaking as the 75-foot-long Greek ship, astonishingly well-preserved beyond belief. So how could a ship remain intact for millennia? The secret lies in the unique environment of the Black Sea. At these extreme depths, the water contains no oxygen, which halts the decomposition of organic materials like wood and fabric almost entirely. As a result, the mast, rudder, and even the wooden oars remain in place, resting silently as if in a deep slumber beneath the frigid waters. Imagine a ship this ancient, not just existing in paintings, models, or vague descriptions, but now visible to the naked eye, its parts still whole and touchable. This is truly a historic turning point in the field of maritime archaeology. What's even more fascinating is not just the ship's intact condition, but its shape. It closely matches the vessel depicted on the famous Siren vase, an ancient Greek artifact displayed at the British Museum. The vase shows the epic scene of Odysseus, the hero of Homer's Odyssey, tied to the mast to resist the enchanting songs of the sirens. The resemblance between the vase's artwork and the real ship found on the seafloor is nearly identical, down to the finest detail. Could this be the actual prototype behind the legend we've heard for generations? It's a spine-tingling thought, isn't it? Professor John Adams, the lead researcher on the project, once exclaimed, "A completely intact ship from the classical world, lying over 2 kilometers beneath the sea, is something I never thought possible." This discovery will change our understanding of shipbuilding and seafaring in the ancient world forever. Thanks to this ship, archaeologists can now study ancient ship design, construction techniques, and seafaring strategies firsthand, no longer relying solely on theories or fragmentary texts. This isn't just a pile of sunken wood, it's a living piece of history, proof of the ancient Greeks' commercial ambition, technical prowess, and creative thinking. It shows that they were capable of building sturdy merchant vessels, able to traverse oceans to trade goods and ideas. This ship may hold the key to answering countless historical questions. Where did they travel? How long were their voyages? What kinds of cargo did they carry? And most importantly, what technology enabled their success in such a challenging maritime world? If a wooden ship can survive intact for 2,400 years, how many more ancient secrets still lie hidden, silently waiting beneath the vast oceans? Could there be lost cities, undiscovered artifacts, or even traces of forgotten civilizations waiting to be revealed? And did you know, the Black Sea isn't just home to this incredible shipwreck, but is also a true archaeological treasure trove, slowly being unveiled piece by piece thanks to modern technology. What do you think about this ancient Greek ship story? Are you amazed that a wooden object could survive nearly untouched for over 2 millennia? Would you like to witness future discoveries from the Black Sea Archaeology Project? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. A 170-year-old body found remarkably intact in an iron coffin. You've probably heard the phrase, "the city that never sleeps," used to describe New York, a place that's modern, fast-paced, and constantly in motion. But have you ever imagined that hidden beneath this bustling metropolis, where skyscrapers continue to rise, there could be a long-forgotten secret that has rested undisturbed for nearly 2 centuries? Today's story takes us back in time, to an archaeological discovery that shocked the city, right in Queens, where the past and present collided in the most unexpected way. It all began on what seemed like a routine day at a construction site. Workers were digging deep into the ground to lay the foundation for a new building. But instead of just dirt and concrete, they stumbled upon something strange, an intricately crafted iron coffin lying silently in the earth like a mystery buried by time. The unexpected find immediately halted the entire construction. Police were called to the scene. With a mix of curiosity and caution, they carefully opened the coffin. What they saw inside left everyone speechless. The body of a young woman, almost perfectly preserved. Her skin still showed visible features. Her soft hair floated gently, as if she had only just fallen asleep. At first, police suspected this might be the body of a recent murder victim, possibly a missing woman from just days before. The body was so lifelike that no one could believe it had been buried long. However, what forensic experts revealed next stunned everyone. Through chemical and tissue analysis, they determined that the woman had not recently died. In fact, her body had been underground for 170 years. That means she passed away sometime in the mid-19th century, yet her body remained astonishingly intact. There were no signs of embalming, no preservation chemicals, yet time seemed to have simply forgotten her. So, what really happened? To find out, archaeologists were brought in. They considered this one of the most unique discoveries in New York City's archaeological history. What baffled them wasn't just how well preserved the body was, but also the strange marks found on her skin, particularly on her forehead and chest. Experts identified these as characteristic signs of smallpox, a deadly disease that terrorized humanity throughout the 18th and 19th centuries. These marks weren't just medical clues. They were a vivid reminder of a grim chapter in human history, when modern medicine had yet to defeat deadly epidemics. Historians and anthropologists expanded the investigation. Through old records, they discovered that this area had once been a small cemetery for local residents in the 1800s. At the time, some wealthier families or those with medical knowledge believed that sealing a body in an airtight iron coffin could protect it from the ravages of soil and time. Yet even with such hopes, no one could have imagined the coffin would preserve the body so thoroughly that it would remain almost lifelike after nearly 2 centuries. The young woman, whose identity has yet to be fully confirmed, was honored in a solemn memorial service by archaeologists as a tribute to the forgotten history and lives of those who came before us. The image of the iron coffin, the marks of smallpox, and the miraculously preserved body raised countless questions. How many secrets of the past still lie buried beneath our feet, untouched and unknown? Can modern science truly explain all of these impossible phenomena? Or are there parts of history that we can only approach with awe and reverence? This 170-year-old discovery wasn't just a shocking moment in archaeology. It served as a powerful reminder that beneath the solid concrete of the modern city, traces of past lives remain. Silent souls whose stories still echo, waiting to be heard. And who knows? In the next chapter of these explorations, we may uncover even more, living evidence of our history, voices long buried by time, ready to speak again. So, are you curious about what else archaeologists have uncovered from the past in recent years? If so, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next amazing video. For now, that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching. See you next time.